When you work with gambling online, it is our responsibility to make sure that every single information out there on the web are truthful for the players. At least this is something that me and today's guest, Jonas Lutteman, thinks. He's been working with big operators, he's been part of great projects representing MTV, and he also now represents Casino Hacks, a website online which makes more or less tutorials for casinos. It's an affiliate, but in video material. So it goes very much aligned with what I'm doing online currently. We're gonna touch various topics as I do in every episode with every guest. Everything today gonna be regarding Twitch, our social responsibility when we are working with social marketing, and other fun stuff. So keep watching, and I hope that you're gonna enjoy my video with Jonas Lutteman from Stockholm.
My name is Jonas Lutteman, and I am head of the Casino Hacks live show. My background is that I lived in London for almost 10 years, working as a television producer, working for Viacom, MTV, and Nickelodeon, and various brands under the Viacom umbrella. But then, after a while, I decided it was time to move back to Sweden. So I did that. I started my own company and was working as a production coordinator in Stockholm for various UK productions coming over to do filming and doing pieces in the Scandinavian countries. And then I bumped into Claes Dahlén, and he was at the time in 2017 was starting a casino called Metal Casino. And he hired me basically from my music background and my television producer background to make sure that the Metal Casino brand was true, relevant, and dedicated, since it was, well, the first casino operator with a clearly defined musical theme. In this case, it was metal and hard rock, which was cool. So I got the opportunity to fly to LA and do a 45-minute interview with Mr. Osbourne himself. Which was, it was unreal. It was super cool.
I would be starstruck if I met Osbourne myself.
Hanging out at the land-based casinos in London, and sort of at the time playing a lot of table games, mainly blackjack and roulette. So when I onboarded on Metal Casino, obviously I had the player perspective, like as really enjoying to gamble, but I had never before worked in the iGaming industry. I tend to look at it from a player's perspective because I'm not really a tech guy. I'm more like, I kind of want to look at a product or a project or whatever we're doing to see how beneficial is this to the player for me personally. Would I enjoy this? Is this something that I would find interesting? No matter what, whether it's a bonus offer or it's a campaign or whatever. So I always tend to take the player perspective or the UX perspective in projects.
Which is highly important, obviously. I mean, you need accurate people in the accurate companies who can really represent the player's perspective and point.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I also know this. Your background is you've been working as a dealer before, haven't you?
I have.
With Interactive, that was our customer support in Malta. And hi, Tore, by the way, if you're watching. I think that was super cool and super interesting to actually, for the first time see what kind of questions, I mean, a customer support, what do they deal with? And that was an extreme learning curve for me. And it was a lot of insights came from that. Like, what do the players ask about? And of course, the majority is about, if it's an unregulated market, of course, the majority of that is basically deposits and bonuses and so on. But yeah, I think that was, for me, that was an eye-opener. What we're doing now, that's one of the things that we work with. We want to do fun and entertaining and informative sort of tutorials, whether you're a beginner or if you're a more seasoned player, doesn't matter. Try to create content to put it out there that explains the ins and outs for the beginners, but also try to make fun and entertaining content for those who've been around a while and really make that stick out.
Your ambitions is to educate and be helpful for the everyday or newly player that, you know, which site, which casino should I use, which casino is going to be more beneficial for me. But in terms of, for example, you know, I've been speaking a lot about personas, and it becomes more and more important that we have different type of material, not just only text on our sites, which tells us where we should play and not.
We pre-recorded 22 videos that explains everything from deposit bonuses to withdrawals to payment methods to explain to players like what is the RTP, what is RTP, what is you know, the ins and outs of slots, table games, etc., etc. So that's quite important. But we also want to tailor make game shows for operators. This kind of affiliation that we work in more entertaining, and do it with video content and not only text, because it brings I think it brings so much more value to the player or the customer, because they can relate to what we're talking about. And in this case, I'm obviously need to be trustworthy, and we want to build trust between ourselves and our customers or our players that we refer to other casinos. So I think that's hugely important. It's the way forward, really.
Yeah, I would say that that's the new world we're living in. I mean, if I could choose between reading an article or going in on YouTube and search for whatever, I don't know, what is affiliation, or anything that you need to learn, I would rather watch someone else tell me and then maybe take notes. And I mean, just look at YouTube and all the different podcasts, or if people are referring to read a book or actually listen to audiobook, I mean, that's the world we're living in. So I think it's 100% the right approach to educate players like yourself, like me, and the rest of the world about gambling.
I think that's super important. We want to be on the player side to explain to them exactly what is good and what is not so good about this, and they can make up their own minds. But we want to be super transparent on that, and the videos, they should hold up all the time. I mean, what we say there is fact. So I think that is super, super important.
And I would like to add on to that. I mean, iGame, as we both know, is an extremely fast-growing industry compared to others in many different senses. However, I do believe that we are lacking in some areas. So do you believe that this was something that iGaming was a little bit late on taking an approach on? Is this something that has been missing for quite some time on the market now?
But when it comes to make the brands a bit more flesh and blood, to make them personal and to make them stick out, I think iGaming has a lot to learn. And that's one of the reasons we started this, because we looked at what we did ourselves, and we realized that the next step here is to actually start producing content that the player can relate to. And if we can also make the player relate to the brand or brands, you know, then that's hugely competitive, because everybody's using the same platform, everybody's using the same CRM tools, more or less, or even if they're not using the same CRM tool, you know, the ins and outs is pretty similar. And I think that when it comes to regulation in markets, when you don't have the opportunity anymore to push bonuses and free spins as your only offer, but if you're used to that and you've done that for 10 years, you probably get quite lazy. You know, this works, why should we change that? I think Casino Hacks and what we offer is a great tool to add soft values and a softer approach to attract players and keep them playing, and to create loyal customers.
And I think that both Casino by Her and Casino Hacks are kind of similar in that sense, because we both come from the same background with knowledge within iGaming, and we have the player's perspective, but we also maybe felt that the curtains were closed, you know, the surroundings weren't invited enough to our iGaming sphere. At least that's what I feel. And just looking at your background now, you know, with the cameras and the setting, for me that is very interesting, because I don't know how it looks in your studio, or, you know, how you record different types of things. And it's the same like when I was a live dealer on Live Evolution Gaming. In order to build that trust between the players that comes every day in play, I mean, of course, they're gonna ask me questions like, okay, so how many cameras do you have? How does
Yeah.
this work?
Yeah.
It's rigged. No, it's not rigged. And it would create so much more trust if the companies in iGaming actually could share a bit more information and
Of
invite
course.
them to some extent. So yeah, I really think that is interesting.
Yeah, I mean now, I'm going to make it official, Lisa. You are hereby invited to come and join us for one of the live episodes whenever our paths cross.
I can do that for sure. That would be super fun.
Yeah,
Give
definitely.
some fruity information about everything
Yeah,
going on behind the cameras. You know, what happens if there's a ball out, you know?
yeah,
So many fun stories about a lot of weird stuff happens. So yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
And what do you think, or according to yourself and the players that come and visit Casino Hacks, what would they say is the most important for them when they choose a casino?
And I'm going to divide it into 3 territories. Like we have regulated markets, we have unregulated markets, and then we have Asia. And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I think a European player uh, in regulated markets, they look for functionality. They want the platform that they're using to be stable, to work 24/7. I think they want a lot of pay. Of course, they want a lot of various payment options. Everybody has that, but I also think fast withdrawals is super important. But here is what Casino Hacks can bring to that, because if you are in a regulated market and you are not allowed or very hampered by communicating bonuses and free spins and etc., what else can you do to enhance your brand? And that's the one way you can do it is either to do to do casino shows where you build community and you add other things. If you can't talk about bonuses to free spins, let's sit down and see what else we can talk about, or how we can work with the brand ambassadors or influencers or whatever you want to do. But you need to do something. When it comes to unregulated markets, well, still, bonuses, free spins, other monetary value that you can offer the players, cashbacks or whatever, it's still king. We see that all the time when we talk to operators who are in unregulated markets. That doesn't mean that all the other stuff is important too. But if from a player perspective, if I can get a bonus, where can I get the best bonus? And that's where Casino Hacks, for instance, we want to try to get the best bonuses out there for players. Another insight, if you are a Japanese player or an Indian player, I had a meeting this morning with our SEO people, and we are already recording stuff for a couple of operators in Japan, and we are going into India as well. There, it's extremely important, like with something that we call Academy and what we talked about earlier. You have to explain the absolute basic ins and outs for an Indian player. What is a bonus? What is a free spin? And how does that work? We have to create content for that in Hindi to really get that across. We need to educate what is casino and how does online casino gambling work. In Japan, I know there are other people out there who probably have more experience than me on this, but what I've learned so far is that when we shoot material, a Japanese player it doesn't matter if the video is 8 minutes long. If it explains exactly what they want to know, and it makes them feel safe and secure about their choice when it comes to an operator, that's all well and good. Let the video be 8 minutes long, as long as we explain in depth how the deposit works, how the rebate system or the bonus system works, and also show clearly on screen almost a graph or an equation. If you deposit $100 and you play X amount of time or X amount of spins, this is what your cashback will look like. We need to be very, very clear on what the offer is all about. So that's one insight that I made recently. So I think it varies from market to market. And then, of course, if you want to be entertaining and a bit fun and a bit, on top of that, obviously you need to catch the right mood and find the right presenters to represent that particular market. I sort of host the English-speaking side of the markets like Europe and North America, but then we have a Japanese host and we have an Indian host as well now. So we are doing it or about to do it in Japanese, Hindi, English, and English. So that's where we are at the moment.
Quite an exciting project then. You must learn
Yeah.
along the way. And as you said, I mean, of course, it's a very broad question, but where I'm going with this is, if you're an affiliate yourself, or if you worked in this industry for a long time, you know that, I mean, we all have the same games more or less.
Yeah.
We have the same bonus systems, offers. I mean, we don't really differ too much these days.
No.
Hands-on, that's what I'm gonna say, and now I'm probably gonna get some hate for that.
No, but that's true. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, we do get inspired from each other. You know, you look at another brand and say, okay, this color scheme is really nice. Okay, look how they, you know, created this function or section. Let's take a little bit from them. Let's, you know, we steal and we get inspired. That's how it works.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna answer your question representing a casino, why is your casino so unique? I mean, that's kind of a stupid question to ask. In that sense.
But I think it's an extremely relevant question, because, as you said, everybody's offering the same product on basically more or less the same platforms and the same games. So that's we can just put that aside. So what else can we work with?
We can work with what can we do to change that?
Exactly. So I think there is a hell of a lot of things that we can do better, and you know, you can add so much to it. I mean, you can add leaderboards. I know that casinos have had leaderboards in the past, but one thing that I am really keen on is that you can build more intricate leaderboards based on how much time you spent in the casino, based on how many spins you played in various games, also based on how interactive you are. For instance, let's say you're an operator and you're on board with us and we do 20 shows. If you watch the show and you interact in the chat and participate in competitions during the show, you get points for that as well. So you need to entice the players to share this on social platforms, and it should be clear, you know, it should be clear, why should I do this? And you have to be, and this can vary from market to market, so I'm not going to go into specifics about that. I think that's from operator to operator, what they want to work with. But it's, for me, it's crystal clear. If you want to track the players, you need to add so much more soft value to the platform or your product or your brand. And one way of doing it is be more interactive, create something that, or produce something that creates loyalty. You want them to come back and watch. And how do you do that? Well, there are a million ideas how you can do that. But I think that the key thing is that the brands or the casinos needs to really start thinking about what our brand, what does it stand for, and what do we want to do with it?
If you have a Twitch streamer that continuously use or log in to one certain casino, and let's say that he or she has thousands of players coming in and chatting and, you know, watching the stream, after a couple of weeks or months or whatever, he or she gonna be kind of connected with that casino. They're gonna think, oh, okay, so Disa, yeah, bets on, or Disa and Kasumo, whatever.
Yeah,
that's gonna happen naturally. So I think we need to take more advantage of that as well. If you don't want
to, but I'm full of respect. I know. I'm acquainted with, let's give it a spin, Kim Hultman, and I think what he's done is genius. I mean, he's completely transparent about how much he plays for. He plays for real money, and et cetera, and he's got a huge following. But I would say that there's no reason that an operator can't build a social media presence that is trustworthy and transparent and convincing. It's just that nobody has done it quite yet. And that's the niche that I think we can help operators with that. You just need to take the best out of. I mean, you can bring it home. You can bring it in-house. It can be done. You just have to try, and you have to do trial and error in some cases. But also, I think we have at Casino Hacks, we have concepts that really would create a loyal following and make sure that the players will come back week in and week out to actually participate in your campaigns. But I take off the hat to all the Twitchers. I think they're doing a great job. And what they have done, which the industry except for the VIP departments, of course, but they've managed to build a broad following.
We spoke about Twitch even before this interview, what we different opinions, and I think I mentioned that me personally, I didn't used to watch a lot of Twitch streamers, and I believe that a lot of people might think it's a bit strange or odd even to watch someone else, win or lose some for hours and hours. But I can just take in a simple comparison. I mean, when I used to work as a live dealer, I had a very broad community logging in every day. They knew my
Yeah, of course.
they knew exactly when I started my shift. I mean,
Yeah.
They would figure it out even if I were not allowed even to mention which days I was working or not. And some of them could stay for 12 hours just watching and speaking and chatting, and after a while they also started to integrate with each other in this chat box.
Yeah.
And I never seen that before, and this was, I don't know how many years ago, 5 years ago or something. And that was insane.
The embryo of a following base. So I'm not surprised. I mean, you want to relate, and this is the thing, and I think that me and Casino Hacks are trying to do. We want to build a bit more personal relationship between the product and the brand and the players. So that's what the Twitch community, in some respects, got that right. But I think the brands themselves can achieve this in the long run. You just have to start thinking outside the box and maybe take some of your marketing budget. Like, I mean, you could take 10% out of that and put it into a live stream format that exclusively on site for your player base.
I made a short video on how it was like to be a live dealer. And an old player of mine that usually went on every Thursday or Monday, he made a comment, and he just said that he was really happy for me with this project, etc., and that he just wanted to let me know that during all our sessions, when when I boosted him or we discussed a lot of things, his personal life during these hours we spent together, actually allowed him to be more socially live today, to step out of his comfort zone, and that just made me so extremely happy, because then my players as I used to call them, 100% knew that I represented a casino or a gaming provider, and I was 100% truthful, and they could feel comfortable playing every time I was there. And that is the same with some of the Twitchers, I assume. And when you're creating marketing around this, that we need to let the players know that we are not, scammers. That is serious. We take it seriously. So we need to have personas actually standing behind the brands to back that up.
They see it, they notice it, and they comment on it, because it as you say, it builds trust. And I think it's all about finding the right mix of the one you put in front of the camera, but also the players. And this is super important, and that's why I think you quickly gain followers these days, that the players wants to feel safe, and they want to feel that this person is 100%. It's true, relevant, and dedicated. And as long as you get that right, you can talk about almost anything.
I believe that the operators have a lot of obligations towards the player, but what do you believe and think that everyone that do social marketing, social media marketing, what kind of obligations do they have towards the players in terms of responsible gambling?
Well, I think the short answer is that they have the same responsibility. So whether it's you or me or anyone else who's pushing gambling as a form of entertainment, I think, well, we should be crystal clear that it is entertainment, and it should be affordable entertainment. So, I mean, we should never entice players in any way to play for money that they can't really afford to lose.
It's supposed to be entertaining.
Exactly.
Here we're doing entertainment online, and it should be affordable, and we should never promote something that we know would be harmful in that sense. I believe that everyone is entitled to their own right or opinion regarding this, but when it all comes down to it, as you said, it's supposed to be fun and it's supposed to be affordable.
supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be affordable, and also it's a choice. Like, what do I want to do on a Friday night? Do I want to go out and buy 10 drinks or have a nice dinner, or do I want to take that money and spend it on a bit of gambling? But I mean, that's about it.
Thank you so much for meeting me here at Casino by Heart, my channel, and bringing your point of perspective and casino hacks knowledge in the casino industry.
You're welcome, Disa. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure, and hopefully we'll see each other soon in Malta, and we can talk about that show concept a bit more.
Absolutely. I might join you in the studio.